Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. Blade stars Wesley Snipes, Stephen Dorff, Chris Christopherson, and is directed by Stephen Norrington. So before I get into this, let me just state that Blade was one of my requested reviews. My cup runneth over with requested reviews, guys. You guys have really just given me so much to look forward to. You know, a lot of these movies I've seen, a lot of them I haven't, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. Now, I can't give a shout out for this one because I looked all over and for some reason I could not find who requested Blade. So, whoever you are out there that requested Blade, please shoot me a note, leave me a comment below, something so I can give you credit, and in the next review I do, I'll go ahead and give you a shout out, and I do apologize. But anyway, hey, we're reviewing Blade. I've been waiting to review this movie for a while, actually. Blade is an interesting movie because it's one of the first big budget Marvel movies to come out and be released in theaters, and it came out in 1998, and a lot of people forget that it's a Marvel movie. Matter of fact, they don't even use the iconic Marvel logo until Blade Trinity. But I just rewatched this movie and it still holds up. It's still a really good movie, so let's get into this. So Blade is a daywalker. What is a daywalker? A daywalker is a half vampire, half human. Blade is kind of interesting because his mother was bitten by a vampire while she was pregnant with him. So some of the traits of vampires actually entered Blade's bloodstream when he was a baby. And he inherited all of their strengths, but none of their weaknesses. And Wesley Snipes plays Blade. So altogether, that just makes him a badass.
Who'd said I was a vampire, huh? Nobody.
And Stephen Norrington does such a great job of just thrusting you square in the middle of Blade's world. It's a seedy world where vampires are preying on humans, but Blade is preying on vampires. He wants to extinguish all vampires. But what's interesting about this story is there's kind of a power struggle, not just between Blade and the vampires, but there's also feuds between different classes of vampires. You got the purebloods, the elders, that want to keep the peace with the humans. You know, they want to kind of operate underground. And then you got Deacon Frost and his clan, and they're more the younger vampires, and most of them are not purebloods. And so there's this constant, you know, push and pull and struggle between Deacon Frost and the elders. And Deacon Frost, played by Stephen Dorff, amazingly by the way, really hates humans. And he wants to extinguish humans. So he wants to create the blood god. And the only way he can create the blood god is mixing the blood of the elders with, you guessed it, Blade's blood. So his mission throughout this movie is to capture Blade alive, which is not an easy thing to do. Now, first off, let's talk about that opening scene in this movie, because to me, it's one of the best comic book openings. I just love that intro with the nightclub, and you see Tracy Lords at the beginning, and she's a vampire and she's luring a human into the nightclub. And this scene is just shot just flawlessly. It looks beautiful. It feels very, you know, hip and now, and you know, it just feels like a youthful scene. And at first it seems like just, you know, a normal nightclub scene, but then all of a sudden you see the blood starts pouring all over everybody, and then you know, oh shit, something bad's about to happen. And something bad does happen. You see that all these nightclub goers are actually vampires, and they lure all these humans into the nightclub and they feed off of them. But then who shows up? You guessed it, Blade. Man, Blade just really kicks ass, and what an intro to this character. I just love everything about this scene. I love the music. I love the build-up, and especially the choreography. The fight scenes are just awesome because Wesley Snipes is actually a trained martial artist, and it fits perfectly with that character of Blade. And you believe him. Blade really just kicks everybody's ass in this movie. You believe that he could easily take down a vampire.
The sword, exactly. Shit, you throw it in the air, catch it underneath. Exactly. Yeah, shut the fuck up!
Even though you know the vampires are, you know, technically stronger than all the humans. And I think you need an actor that has some sort of background in martial arts for this character, because if you have really bad fight scenes in this movie, then it's not gonna really be believable. But right away you can tell that Wesley Snipes, he knows what he's doing. Also, I really dug the relationship between Whistler and Blade. Whistler is really the only father figure that Blade has. And he's not a very nurturing father figure. You know, he is just a hard-edged, chiseled man. And he really takes care of Blade. He makes all his weapons for him. He does all the computer work. I think without Whistler, Blade would be at a great disadvantage.
I'm expecting company.
Catch you fuckers at a bad time.
And Christopherson really gives Whistler a personality. He really feels like this weathered, beaten down character. And you really get the feeling that he has had, you know, a dark past. And I would actually be curious to see what that past was, you know, outside of what we already know. Also, Stephen Dorff. This might be one of the most underrated villains in comic book film history that I've ever seen. He really does a great job in this movie. He is kind of scary, actually. And what's funny is he's not a big guy. He's not a great fighter or anything. He is one of those great villains like, you know, Lex Luthor or like the Joker that is smart and calculated. And he considers every move that he takes against Blade. Everybody under him, they're afraid of him and they look up to him. But Stephen Dorff really just soaks up every scene that he is in Blade. Deacon Frost is really a character that demands attention and he can turn on a dime.
You're just infected. A virus, a sexually transmitted disease.
I'll tell you what we are, sister. We're the top of the fucking food chain. The blood god's coming, and after tonight, you people are fucking history.
You know, one second he seems like he's joking, and then the next second he is dead serious, and you can tell that he will kill you in an instant. Finally, one thing I really loved about this movie is it is a hard R. It is not a PG-rated comic book movie at all, as it shouldn't be. Blade is not a PG character, and this movie is just bloody as hell. Now, as far as any cons for Blade, I think the biggest thing would be some of the CGI scenes, but I gotta cut it some slack because this movie came out in '98, and this was filmed in the early stages of CGI, you know. CGI had only been out, you know, just a few years, and they were experimenting with the technology at the time. And, you know, considering what they were up against, I think they did a pretty decent job for the most part. And to me, it still holds up. Like, yeah, of course you're gonna notice some of the scenes are CGI, but I don't think it takes away from the enjoyment of the movie. So for that overall, I would definitely give Blade a purchase worthy. It is probably the best out of the three, but the other two movies are actually pretty decent too. And speaking of the other two movies, if you want to see the closest version of Deadpool by Ryan Reynolds, look at Blade Trinity as Hannibal King. He actually plays him like he would play Deadpool. So anyway, guys, that is my review for Blade. What did you guys think of this movie? I'm hoping that we actually get another Blade movie. I know Wesley Snipes really wants to do another one, so we'll see. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Drum Dums. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Drum Dum out.